What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. I'm Michigan Sports Talk here, and in this one, we got some transfer portal news. The Wolverines going after another offensive line target as a new name emerges. Plus, we give the latest on the other remaining offensive line targets as a few come off the board. Also give an update on Ty Haywood, the 5-star offensive tackle, as he took a visit over the weekend. Also give an update on Wink Martindale, Michigan's chances to keep him in Ann Arbor. And also the Wolverines hosted a couple Ohio natives and top cornerback prospects over the weekend for visits, as Sherrone Moore was with them at the Michigan basketball game. And we also talk about the Michigan basketball game as they pull off a gritty win against Northwestern. It's all going to be in this video and more, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Alright, so let's go ahead and start here, and I first wanted to start by talking about some transfer portal news for the Wolverines. There is a new offensive line target that has emerged for Michigan, and that is the Stanford offensive lineman Trevor Mayberry, a 6'3", 315-pound offensive lineman who does have 1 year of eligibility remaining. Now, Michigan is yet to offer him. They are keeping an eye on him, though. He's an experienced offensive lineman, was out with an injury this season, but he started his career at Penn, transferred to Stanford. He started 19 games at left tackle for Penn and then transferred to Stanford, and then started 9 games for Stanford at left guard. So he has kind of been all over the place on the offensive line. According to E.J. Holland of the Wolverine, he won't be done with his academic program at Stanford until March, so there is a lot of time for Michigan to, give it a run and get him on campus for a visit. He has already visited UCF, Virginia Tech, and also he is visiting Mississippi State. He's gotten offers from all those schools, including others like Kansas, Tulane, and UNLV, and others as well. So obviously Michigan trying to add 1 or 2 more offensive linemen from the portal. They're keeping their options open. Michigan, has reached out to other offensive linemen, including the Troy offensive tackle, which we talked about, Daniel King. However, he committed to North Carolina, so he is off the board. Nothing really, progressed far in that. We did also mention the Arizona transfer offensive lineman, Leif Magnuson. He is a possibility for Michigan, although there's not much on him. Obviously, Michigan would have to get him on campus for a visit. Then another guy Michigan was going after was the big one, which was New Mexico State transfer offensive tackle Shiaz Pete, but he committed to Kentucky. So Wolverines lose a big one right there. Michigan was one of the top schools going after him. Kentucky really picked up steam late though, and they pick up a commitment from him. So really sucks to lose him. But Michigan exploring more options and new options here. They also got the spring portal window, and obviously they still need to add another wide receiver, which would be nice. So that's where we stand right now. I will say though, Michigan coaching staff has been out on the recruiting trail, visiting 2026 targets, and really putting a big focus right there. And they've also got some big targets on campus for a visit over the weekend. One of them is in the 2025 class. That is the 5-star offensive tackle Ty Haywood, which we talked about. Now, there was a new on-3 prediction that got put in for Michigan, and that was from Michael Langston, who put in an on-3 prediction for Michigan to land him, who was a Florida State insider on 3. So that is actually big news, because Florida State right now appears to be the biggest threat towards Michigan. Texas Tech has kind of faded away a little bit, so currently right now all signs pointing towards the Wolverines, but they still got to steal the deal here and land a commitment from him. So but right now it is looking very good for the Wolverines. Also wanted to talk about some more recruiting news, which we'll get into later, but I did want to give an update on Wink Martindale right now, as obviously he has been interviewing with a couple NFL teams, and that includes the Atlanta Falcons and the Indianapolis Colts. Now, the Atlanta Falcons have already hired a defensive coordinator, so that's one down. And then there was consideration of the Bengals potentially pursuing him, but that doesn't really seem to be happening here. So the only other team right now that could offer him is the Colts, which would Martindale take that job with the Colts? Who knows? But so right now it is looking pretty good for Michigan to get back Wink Martindale, but nothing is set in stone. And like Wink Martindale said, before he said, when he took this job that he wanted to retire here with this job, but he wouldn't, not talk to teams. And if somebody backed up a Brinks truck, he wouldn't just say no to that. So, but right now I would say it is looking good for Wink Martindale to stay in Ann Arbor. And then I also wanted to talk about some recruiting news here, and that is Michigan versus Ohio State on the recruiting trail. And the two of the top cornerback prospects in the 2026 class, both Albert Hill and then also Victor Singleton, both top 100 recruits in the 2026 class, both cornerbacks and both from the state of Ohio. Both Michigan and Ohio State going after him. Now, Michigan head coach Sherrone Moore, according to Steve Wiltfong of On3, he was in the state of Ohio and he did visit Albert Hill. Sherrone Moore is personally trying to land Albert Hill and Victor Singleton, trying to persuade them to come to Michigan instead of Ohio State, and it's kind of similar to the Bryce West and Aaron Scott situation, although now Michigan is working with NIL. They could have a better chance this time around. And also Victor Singleton did take a visit this weekend to Michigan as he was on campus on Sunday. And I believe him, along with Sherrone Moore and other recruits who visited over the weekend and on Sunday, were at the Michigan basketball game as well. It's his fourth time checking out campus and making a trip to Ann Arbor. So it's big time to get him back on campus. Also Sherrone Moore visiting Albert Hill. Those are two key targets for Michigan in the 2026 class, and it appears it could come down to a Michigan-Ohio State battle, just like it was with Aaron Scott and Bryce West. Another Ohio cornerback who was on campus over the weekend was the 2027 elite cornerback Ashton Elston, otherwise known as Ace Elston, but he was on campus for a visit as well, and he was another guy that comes from the state of Ohio. He was also at the basketball game. Michigan going after a few Ohio natives and top cornerback prospects. And speaking out of the Michigan basketball game against Northwestern, the Wolverines pulled off a gritty performance. They win it 80-76 in overtime. It was a huge win, a huge bounce back win for the Wolverines after falling to Minnesota, but it did not come easy. The Wolverines go to 14-4 on the season, 6-1 in Big Ten play, and stand in the mix of things in the Big Ten. The Wolverines did not have a good offensive performance, really. They shot the ball 36.1% from the field. They didn't have as much turnovers as previous games, but they still did have double-digit turnovers, 11 turnovers in this game. And they did make their free throws down the stretch to seal the deal. And, we're going to be seeing, I think, a lot of these games. And it's going to be a big one coming up against Purdue on Friday. Top 25 clash as the Wolverines go on the road on Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. It's going to be a big game, and for Michigan to be able to just gut that win out against Northwestern is a big sign, because they're going to have games like this all season long here in the Big Ten. That's just how it's been. That's how it's going to be this season. A lot of Big Ten teams like Northwestern, there are physical teams. You have to be physical in the Big Ten. Michigan, this team's learning that, and they, really needed that win. They got the win. A win is a win, and now it sets up a big one against Purdue on Friday night, and hopefully, their offense can get it going. Obviously did not shoot the ball that well. Michigan was led by Vlad Golden's 31 points in this one. He has just been playing outstanding for the Wolverines. But with that, that's going to wrap up this video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure to go ahead, drop a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more. If you are new around here, I greatly appreciate it. And we will see you guys in the next video. Go Blue.